All right, you guys, we're back with round three of our Edison plus one back card minus Chaos, Emperor slash Crush Card Virus, and Imperial Order. And today we got Mario. He's playing his Frog Hero Monarchs. And the one card he decided to play was Pot of Greed. And then we got Andrew. A lot of people know him for his what is it, Vayu Turbo deck. He's pretty spot on. He knows that deck in and out, should I say? And that's one of his more competitive decks. But considering it's a one band card, I think he also decided to play Painful Choice just to get some value off of some Lightsworns. Being able to dump five and setting up with Wolf and just getting a whole graveyard off of one card and still being able to get full value for like JD. It's actually one of the better cards. I would have also chosen to play, but as they're still debating, who goes first or who goes second, they're still rolling their dice. But most definitely, if you guys still enjoy and like this type of content, please continue to follow. As far as both these decks, where they fall in the meta, I think at currently Hero Frog Monarchs is one of the better decks to still play in the current format. And then Lightsworns, obviously it's also like a tier 1.5 because it can get you there. But as we can see, Mario goes ahead and activates Upstart, uses Rhoda to search out Stratos, and just debating what to do. So he normal summons Stratos to search out most likely Alias. He has Ocean, which is good because it allows him to set up a water in case he doesn't have any of his frog engines. So summon Stratos, sets one, and passes turn. Andrew summons Card Trooper, Mills, JD, Painful Choice, and the Beckoning Light. So unfortunately, that's the downfall of playing mill cards. And sure enough, we have Mario answering the Card Trooper with Rikeki and discarding Treeborn. That's an interesting play, but maybe he has a substitute to follow up and wants to push for more damage. Yeah, see, I would have personally just saved the Rikeki break for a back row and then hope to draw into a Kai's or a simple out. And sure enough, so he special summons the Treeborn, which tributes off for Mobius and does return the face down. Gets in for 18 and 24. So he did get in there, was able to do some damage, but that could have been punished on hindsight if Andrew had a threatening roar or something just to, bait out his opponent and still not let the Ryza put him behind the turn. So as Andrew plays Foolish, you can just see him thinking about possible plays. Normally there's only about 3 plays with just Wolf, Plague, or Necrogarna. So he does special summon the Wolf. I wonder if he has a Celestia. So indicates and runs over the Stratos for 300. Sets one, sets a face down and passes turn. And I believe Mario drew another Ryza. And sure enough, he summons another Ryza, returns the face down, and attacks over the Wolf. Andrew draws. Considering that he hasn't made a single play, my first thought would be it's Raikou and Pekkaning face down. And yeah, I laugh because that's once again. I guess these plays are, I say, interesting. That's way of being polite, but that's a play you don't ever really want to do, especially in Frog Monarchs, which is set your Miracle Fusion, just because it it can backfire. And sure enough, heavy storm. Mario activates the heavy storm and manages to get rid of the beckoning. But yeah, back on setting the miracle, you really don't want to do that just because it puts you in a position to not have a recurring treeborn frog. So, but Andrew does activate that beckoning, returning Lila, JD, Celeste, and so it was the right call. He targets the absolute zero, hits for 24, does have the necro, and hits for 15. He passed his turn, and we already know he has Lila and JD. He might be short a name. One, two, three. Andrew's debating of even summoning anything. The biggest concern is knowing he has a Treeborn for follow-up and just not having 4 names in the graveyard to get him there. Oh, so he does decide to get the 4th name by crashing into the Mobius and I'm sorry, the Ryza and end phase. He does mill an extra wolf. And Mario does have a Miracle Fusion for follow-up to special with the Absolute Zero, and that's a quick out to JD if he wants to do that route. If he has another monster, he can just simply Kai's and go in for game, but he goes 1 for 1. He discarding his Junk Warrior, special on Substitute, and summoning the Swap Frog to dump out Treeborns. So yeah, he crashes the JD and then hits for 1,000. So now he just puts himself on a top deck situation versus Lightsworns, which is not horrible. You know, if he manages to top deck Akai's or any Monarch just to get him out of the situation, or even another Miracle. But yeah, Andrew does go ahead and hit over with the Lila. Mario top decks the Substitute, and now he's going to be able to dump and load up the graveyard. So he summons Swap Frog, dumps, uses Swap Frog effect. No effect, actually, he just tributes it and ends up with the soft dupe block. If you guys don't know, it's just that in this situation, you have to attack Dupe Frog, and it cannot be destroyed by battle because of Substitute. So it's not where you have 2 dupes face up where you cannot declare an attack at all. In this case, you can declare an attack. It just wouldn't be able to be destroyed by battle. So that's why it's considered another soft block, because it requires your opponent to answer your board. Or if not, then you're still gonna have Substitute for follow up with hypothetical another Treeborn coming up. But Andrew does have the reincarnation. He tributes both. He targets both. Let's see what he mills. Nothing great, but still manages to clear the board. And sure enough, Mario does top deck Akai's and targets the Celestia, and it'll be game over. I think that was just a slow start for Andrew. He's not seeing solar recharge or charge or being able to mill anything with more value. That's the whole purpose of Lightsworn, is mill, attack, get honest, and hope your opponent doesn't have any answers. And if they do, then hopefully you have JD as a follow-up. So Lightsworns is one of those decks where it can be mid-range or slower, but the concept is trying to be more aggro. Well, nowadays they're playing different variants of it, right? Which is the pure variant and which I find still one of the more solid ones, which is being able to play Threatening Roar and a pure Lightsworn deck. It will get you there, right? I remember one of the first times that Lightsworn's ever topped was because it was main decking or side decking Royal Oppression, and it was just the whole purpose of getting or catching your opponent off guard on certain cards would be the surprise factor, and just Soul Charge is still a scary card, especially being able to mill Wolf or Plague, Necrogarna, anything to get you into small advantages is the ideal concept of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Which is being able to generate simple plus ones and having value with those plus ones. So in this case, uh, that's what Lightsworn does. And same thing with the Frog Hero Monarchs, which is the concept is trying to be able to summon Stratos turn one to get a plus one, and then same thing with Substitute. If you have a Substitute for follow up, you tribute up the Substitute and you still keep cycling that Substitute. So each deck has little different concepts, but ultimately the concept is to control board, maintain hand advantage, and be able to answer your opponent's board while still going to zero, right? Turning your opponent's life points. But as we see, game two, Andrew's no painful choice, but see, he does mill Iron One Solar off of Jane. So he's got Jane in set 2, and we see Mario go ahead and start off reinforcement of the army. So he's going to get his +1, which is Stratos. And considering your opponent has 2 back rows, I mean, Stratos is not a bad place because you're able to play into your opponent's back row and still gain another monster for follow for next turn, or maybe even this turn if you had it like Evil Hero plus 1-for-1 or something like that. But it always helps you maintain that 1-for-1 advantage. Mario debating on what to do. Let's see, he sets one and passes turn. Oh no! Oh, enters battle phase, but he's got the Threatening Roar, so Andrew draws.
I was in a Black Rose, yeah. I was at a Black Rose, saw him, and then bam, yeah. She was about to get real again.
He tries getting in there, but he does have the Rikeki break for the Jane in attack mode, and it helps load up the graveyard again for Miracle Fusion if that's what he wants to do for follow-up. But Andrew passes, which could only put into his opponent's head that he doesn't have anything at this time. So probably stuck with Wolf, JD. But he does draw Foolish, Special Summons, Wolf. Tries getting there again. This time he does have the Mirror Force. Andrew debating of setting a monster. Activates monster reincarnation, summons and mills 2, hits nothing, which is another Honest and Gores. And then strange enough that Mario summons Kai's and hits the back row. That just says he's not scared of any Honest or anything that Andrew might have. So, but Andrew does have the Honest. Andrew summons Delilah. Let's see if he doesn't get punished here. Oh, he's got the bottom. If it was Torrential, I would have gave it to Mario because he's playing into his opponent's back row. And then sure enough, Mario top decks another Miracle Fusion. That's the thing about the Frog Hero matchup, right? Which is it does have so many power cards like Kaya's, Absolute Zero, being able to mind control, being able to control his substitute to still get the swap frogs, then out your engine. On top of that, look at Mario does have a Kaiku, and I think that, if he doesn't have Gores, I think Mario can easily just take full control here. This gets rid of Jane. It's tough to answer this. So, and sure enough, there goes Andrew admitting defeat, having Celestia and JD. So yeah, just taking into consideration his hand and what his opponent had, it was a rough one for Andrew. But that's the life with playing Lightsworns, right? You live by the mills and you die by the big monsters. In this case, drawing JD, Celestial Wolf. Great risk comes with great responsibility. And with that being said, I'm out.